In the shadows we reside, cracking codes to flip the tide. Zeros and ones our battle cry. System fall, we watch them die. Hack the gap, no turning back. Red meets blue in the cyber attack. Firewall burns, the signals cracked. Hack the gap, yeah.
Welcome back to Hak Attack, the only podcast where plausible deniability isn't some weak legal defense. It's a state-sponsored WMD. Today's roast, the cyber siege of the West. Think James Bond malware and spy chase stuff? Drop it. Russia's doctrine now is a trash fire of nesting dolls. One layer of chaos crammed inside another, till all you have left is a broken Matryoshka set listing on eBay. And we used to think nation-state hacking was a nerdy Cold War hobby. Grab some secrets, show off some 0 days, maybe dunk some emails. Cute. Except, 2024 and 2025 said hold my vodka. This isn't espionage anymore. It's kinetic disruption. Breaking the stuff you actually rely on. Your water. Your grid. The same logistics that move food and medicine. You know, boring things that incidentally keep society alive. Here's the playbook now. August 2025. Maybe you missed this, 'cause who follows Polish water security news, right? Russian actors almost sabotaged Poland's water supply. Not in a theoretical cyberstorm tabletop way, but in the let's poison some taps for real kind of way. And that's not some lonely headline. Over 4,300 attacks slammed Ukraine just in 2024. The tempo is up, the West is next, and we're barely out of denial. I've played my share of tabletop attack sims. Pretend disruptions, what would you do next hypothetical drills. They teach you a lot, but nothing preps you for the actual raw panic and confusion when it's for real. The tabletop never dumps chlorine in the reservoir or takes down half the pumps. After Poland, I stopped calling these exercises realistic. The actual thing is chaos, and we're only just feeling the heat. Let's pull apart Russia's cyber matryoshka and see who's inside. At the tippy top, you've got the powerhouses, GRU and SVR. These are the military intelligence operators, your APT-44s, Fancy Bear, Cozy Bear. You know the names, even if you wish you didn't. These folks don't drop ransomware for the lols. They do supply chain takedowns, logistics hacks, economic sabotage. It's the death from Shadow Squad doing the critical hits no one wants to admit happened. Flip the next layer and you get proxies. Think hacktivist hangouts like No Name 05716. Occasionally the cyber army of Russia. Their genius is at one thing. Plausible deniability. Every time destruction rains down, the Kremlin just shrugs and goes, wasn't us. Probably some patriotic teens. Guess they had a Red Bull overload. But look closer. These volunteers suddenly pull off ICS attacks, DDoS, ransomware, credential leaks. Not exactly hacker Discord energy anymore. The beauty, or horror, depending on where you're sitting, is how that arrangement collapses attribution. Who did what? Who cares? With every op, the Kremlin gets space to claim innocence while reaping the benefits of sanctioned chaos. Alright, let's zoom in on those proxies. People act like hacktivist groups are still just running DDoS for retweets. That's vintage thinking. Now, we're seeing combos. Credentials get dumped, ransomware pops up, ICS tools get misused, all in the same play. You want chaos multipliers? These folks turn one hack into cross-industry cluster meltdowns. What's wild is how blurred the lines have become. Sometimes it's a loose swarm, sometimes it's a disciplined side channel feeding off GRU playbooks. Volunteers are proxy soldiers. Half the time both. I've gamed with strangers who turned out to be a crew, all on the same voice chat. No avatars, chatting strat. Turns out one was moonlighting as part of a coordinated attack group. It's hard to describe the adrenaline and paranoia until you're gaming, and the trash talk suddenly goes from teabagged your base to Let's experiment with real-world ICS tools. That was the moment I started double-checking everyone on my Discord friends list. If you're picturing Russian hackers dropping shiny new malware every play, think again. The real flex? LOTL, living off the land. Not James Bond gadgets, just using what Windows gives you every sysadmin. Run ntdsutil to dump your whole Active Directory. Use vssadmin to mess with shadow copies. Run SCH tasks to schedule nastiness that sticks like a cockroach infestation, and sweep it all up with wvtutil to kill the logs. These aren't signatures for your antivirus to find. They're hiding inside the regular background noise of your IT team. That's the genius. Legit tools pulling off lit-level sabotage while your EDR just hums in the background. I could tell you stories where companies swore their AV had their back, only to eat a ransomware sandwich because the attacker just used built-in Windows stuff. Fail to see the patterns, fail to stop the breach. Signature detection is a fossil, people. The attackers use what you use. If you're still banking on that AV to save your bacon, let me introduce you to its cousin, the undercooked firewall. We're in anomaly hunting mode now. It's about behavior, context, and sadly, endless DFIR burnout. Picture this. Logs wiped with wevdutil at 2 a.m. Scheduled tasks that don't line up with maintenance windows. That's not housekeeping. That's a burglar vacuuming up their footprints. The context matters. Hunt the abnormal, not just the malware. Here's my Obsessive Defender checklist. Hunt process creation from built-in tools. Flag weird schedule jobs. Monitor for privilege logon spikes. Correlate every log deletion. And annoy your SIM vendor with requests for better context until you get it. You want survival? Obsess about behavior. You want a practical horror story? 2024, Texas, a small water treatment plant. The cyber army of Russia stepped up and claimed the hack. Overflowing water tanks sounds small, right? Except it's the first wave of kinetic disruption on US soil. Sabotage the basics, watch stress ripple out. Dig deeper, and attribution didn't die with the hacktivist. Traces crawled straight back to GRU's APT-44. That's the nesting god in action. Hacktivists leap into the headlines. The real pros harvest chaos, and the Kremlin says, evidence? Never heard of it. This is the new normal analysts are sweating over in ICS security circles. Cover fire from chaos agents, while the state flexes in the background. But if you really want to bust society at the knees, you aim for the grid. That's the chalice, the ultimate single point of failure. Hospitals, phones, banks, even food logistics, they all run on electrons. The attacks? You go after substations, solar farms, subgrid automation, manipulate a small input and destabilize the network. I've red teamed simulated grid systems, and honestly, you can trigger cascading failures with less effort than it takes to win a particularly annoying Portal Wars 2 match. It's not some doomsday movie, it's just bad control math. And we're not nearly as resilient as we pretend. Here's the domino chain when the grid goes down. First comes the water crisis. Sanitation fails, tap water turns unreliable, fires can't be fought. Then, communications drop. Cell towers run on batteries and diesel, but when those go, it's radio silence. Law enforcement loses its backbone. Command collapses. ATMs? Hope you like no cash mode. Digital banking, online ordering, payment systems, all frozen. Food and medical supplies, refrigeration fails, supply chains grind to a halt, hospitals hit panic mode. Not an inconvenience, a full-scale system implosion. I've lived through a citywide blackout before, total anarchy over streetlights. No YouTube, no Discord, no coffee shops. Multiply that with today's digital dependencies, we're eyeing a real collapse, not a bad week. So, let's get tactical. Enterprise, lock down multi-factor everywhere, patch your exchange, and don't stop at just patch Tuesday. Go after every single backdoor and edge device. Segregate your industrial/OT segments from anything internet-facing. Do it like your life depends on it, because one day it might. Don't ignore CISA, NCSC, or anyone that hands you a tactical checklist for surviving the digital apocalypse. On the civilian side, it's ghost protocol time. Assume the blackout is inevitable. Get analog, old school landlines, NOAA radios, solar-proof battery banks, hard copy contacts, paper maps. Go all in. If your mobile dies with the grid, you're going to need some 90s survival skills you thought you'd never use again. And, pro tip, every IT pro needs a home go kit. Mine has enough caffeine, batteries, and backup Wi-Fi modems to last till my ISP comes back, or the next episode of the finals launches. Doom prep? Maybe, but it's realistic. Here's the real absurdity. The West still treats cyber like a nuisance ticket on your windshield. Patch Tuesday fixes that. Except, while you're patching, adversaries are blurring the noise, stacking up proxies, and aiming for your grid like it's a weak boss in Splitgate. Our next storm warning won't blare from your phone. It'll creep in as a login event you ignore, followed by silence, then total outage. So here's how you end tonight's Hak Attack and get out alive. Plausibility is for attackers. Preparation is for survivors. Anomaly detection and ghost protocol aren't paranoia. They're the new normal. Hunt behaviours, prep your analog, and stop pretending this is about email leaks. This is about digital civilization. Stay paranoid, stay prepared, and never let plausible deniability become your excuse.
The whispers, a data stream, codes the canvas, paint the scheme. We're the ghosts inside the machine. Nothing's safe, not even your dream.